Good morning. Thank you for joining. We are waiting for the other registrants to join. We will probably start in about 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute or you can put your questions into the chat.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. We
Uh,
are waiting for more people to join and then we will start.
Absolutely. I have some issue with my computer. So if I'm charging the other, it said I got some breach, but whatever.
That's okay. We can just let you back in when you rejoin on the other one.
I appreciate that. Thank you so
Uh-huh.
much, Michelle.
No
I am
problem.
going to I'm going to mute my. Do I need to be in video or not?
Nope.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm still admitting people, so we'll get started in just a couple minutes. This is being recorded and we will post it on the HGR website so you can share it with your colleagues or rewatch. We'll probably post it later this afternoon. We will probably start at 9:35 if anybody needs to check on other emails for the next couple of minutes. We're going to wait just to make sure. We have a lot of people registered, so it may take a few minutes to admit everyone. Good morning, Ray. So glad you could join us.
Morning.
For those of you who don't know Ray, he is the president of HGAR.
Hi, Ray. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for your patience, everybody, as I'm admitting everyone into this. We have a lot of people registered, so it's going to take just a couple more minutes to let everybody in.
Oh, excuse me.
I can never hear that voice again.
Who's that?
James.
Who's James?
And if everyone could mute unless you have a question before we start. You
Huh.
can also put questions in the chat.
How do you mute? Can you hear me?
You should see a button with a little microphone and you can just tap on that, click on that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Thanks.
Feel free to unmute if you have a question, and there is going to be a Q&A with Ahad at the end as well. And you can also drop questions in the chat, and then Ahad can either decide if he wants to answer them as he goes along, or he can save them for the end, whichever feels the best for the flow of the presentation. So feel free to drop your questions there. I'm going to give this just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to start.
How do I do it? I'm pressing on this and look what comes up.
You should be able to click on a little microphone. I can mute for you if you want.
Please, because for some weird reason, when I click on it, it's showing.
Sure. If you need to ask a question and you're not sure how to unmute, you can put it in the chat or raise your hand. Oh, you did it. Looks like you did it. I think we're just about ready. If people arrive late, they can just catch up. They'll just, and as I mentioned before, we are recording this and we'll post it later today. You can share with your colleagues. I'm going to have an email sent to everyone who registered with the recording link. Okay, I think we will get going. Thank you, everyone, for joining. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Lorio, and I am the partnership manager at HGAR. I work with all of our affiliates Ahad Ali is an affiliate member, and his company is called Tabby AI. He is the founder and CEO. He has put together a great presentation this morning about AI as it relates to bookkeeping, taxes, and he's going to take you through some great advice. There will be Q&A at the end. For members of HGAR that are on this, you should also know that under our member perks at work, that Ahad's company does have some special discounts for HGAR members. So if you're not sure where to find that inside your member dashboard, you can shoot me an email and I can always help you find it if you're not sure where it is. So with that, I am going to let Ahad go ahead and start today's presentation.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Hi, everyone, and very good morning. I'm gonna just share my screen and we'll kind of go through the presentation and also introduce myself. Let me just share my screen and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, I believe everyone can see my screen. Right. Cool, right? Okay, great. So let's. All right, welcome everyone. Yeah, today we want to talk about your finances as a real estate professional. You're self-employed, and it's really important that you maximize your tax savings. Basically keep everything organized so tax time comes, you are stress-free and also paying the least amount of taxes as much as possible. And I know this could sometimes be a little bit hard, but AI has made this so much more easier. And so I want to thank HGAR for giving us the opportunity to kind of showcase this, show how you can set it and forget it and run a more profitable, better business as a real estate professional. So a little bit about myself before we get in, by way of background, I'm a CPA. Previous to running Tabby, I was running an accounting firm, actually right here based in the Bronx, and did that for about 10 years, worked primarily with small businesses and self-employed professionals. Over 1,200 small businesses I worked with personally. And while I did that during the 10 years, I kept seeing essentially same bookkeeping mistakes costing real estate agents thousands of dollars year after year. So it's just because they didn't know what to deduct, how to organize their write-offs, what is a deduction, and by not staying on top of that side of your business, your finances, they were overpaying on taxes, losing on thousands of dollars. So I kept seeing this and I figured, I think there has to be a solution. And with AI coming into, our worlds, it's made things, solutions much more easier. And so the solution that I built after my experience, working as a CPA directly with small businesses is Tabby. So I'll show you guys a little bit of what that does, and more importantly, I want to educate you all on best practices around all of this. I also I'm on social media. If you guys are on Instagram or TikTok, I have about 250,000 followers on my platform where I share tax tips, accounting, bookkeeping, all of that stuff. So feel free to Ahad the CPA is my handle there. So let's get in. So what are you going to walk away with today? What is it that is really important today? We're going to talk about the financial mistakes that agents are making without realizing it. We'll talk about practical things you can automate this week using AI. How to stop missing deductions and always know where your money stands. And then you'll also talk about what AI can do for your finances and what it cannot. right? There's a lot of misconception there. We'll talk about a simple framework, how you can set it up once and pretty much only touch it when you need to. And we'll kind of look at a little bit of a live action, a live look at AI bookkeeping tools like Tabby in action. So I think we have a lot of great stuff to cover. So we'll go through it. I'm going to try to go through everything so we can cover it all, and then leave some time for questions. Like I mentioned, you can leave questions in the chat. I think as we are, as I'm presenting, and then I'll maybe just answer them while I'm presenting if the time seems right. If not, I'll do it at the end. All right. So based on my experience of someone who's been doing this for the last 10 years, my accounting firm previously had 20 plus team members. I was managing a team of 20 other CPAs, other EAs, other associates right here from the Bronx, and I've seen a lot. And if that experience has shaped, what I'm doing right now in the AI accounting space with Tabby. So, first thing, mixing personal and business spending. That's always I see this all the time, and I understand sometimes, like you're just on the go, you're busy, you may not have time to get a separate account set up. But I highly, highly recommend you from day one have a separate bank account for your business transit purposes. It doesn't have to be LLC, it doesn't have to be a corporation, it could be another personal account. You can open a sole proprietor bank account, and you basically segregate that only to be used for your real estate related work, income and expenses all goes through there. Same with credit card. I know we all love points, so why not, instead of using a debit card, we should be using credit cards. Just make sure you pay that balance off in full. And so have a dedicated credit card purely um, for business. That's gonna also help. Reconciling books once a year. You shouldn't just look at your income and expense in April. It should be done more frequently, and that's also another area where I see shortfall. No system for receipts. Generally, if you're using a credit card or debit card and the transaction is under $75, you don't need to keep a receipt. But if it's over that, you should take a picture of the receipt and attach it to the transaction. Now, if you are paying something with cash completely, then you definitely need a receipt. Doesn't matter the amount, right? And second thing is everyone that's self-employed and that expects to owe more than $1,000 during tax time should be paying quarterly estimated taxes. And failure to make those payments, you get hit with penalties and interest from the IRS. And many people think I can just pay my taxes end of the year in April. Yes, if you owe less than 1,000, but if you plan to owe more, you need to be paying that every quarter. And so I also see a lot of tax kind of mistakes around this. You're overpaying. So I want to talk about what AI can do and what it cannot. So we're also making sure we're using it to the best of our what it does. Most AI tools and in accounting and finance, what it can do, it can take your transactions and you can categorize them automatically. You could put them in meals, you could put them in marketing, salaries, software, whatever you want. It'll help you find what's deductible, even in personal accounts. So like I previously mentioned, essentially what most people are doing is personal and business is mixed, but many AI tools, something Tabby does is it can take those personal transactions and even find them inside your mixed accounts. It can run reports, it can show you everything in a simple and easy way, and it becomes like your source of truth, right? This is where everything is accurately recorded. And things by mistake, you may not, it won't get deleted, lost, because I know what most people are doing is using spreadsheets Some people are doing things manually on a notepad. Some people are also trying to use tools like QuickBooks, which it's a legacy software from 30 years ago, built for accountants in mind. So it has those complex workflows, whereas modern tools, AI native tools like Tabby are made for small businesses. So it's more business owner friendly. And it can take, most AI should be able to take photos and kind of extract information and give you and log that as an expense. But what it cannot do is, it cannot replace a CPA for strategy or filing. So, AI cannot automatically file your taxes. It's still something you have to do. If you're trying to discuss strategy, planning, those are things that you need a CPA, a tax professional. Judgment calls and gray areas. Um, that's another area that you should, make sure the final judgment calls stays with the professional. Um, AI cannot like magically, do things for you. It cannot fix something that if you don't give it clean data, there's a saying called garbage in, garbage out. So if you are not giving it proper information, it's just not going to give you that answer you need. And it can't really access any of your information, like your bank accounts and such. It's unless you give that permission. So we want to make sure we are kind of understanding the limitations of AI as well. It can't and what information we have to also provide with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you a little bit about what I spoke about kind of live and as it relates to Tabby specifically. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen here. So here I'm inside Tabby, our platform that helps do all of these things that AI I mentioned can do. So I just want to show you one thing, and we're going to go back to the presentation. What I want to show you is it starts by connecting to your bank accounts and credit cards. So it pulls all the transaction. It does the security. So what I'm gonna show you is essentially you want to connect your credit cards and bank accounts to Tabby for it to do the work essentially. And it does this by using Plaid. I don't know if you guys heard of Plaid, but it's a third-party platform that does this very securely. So you're not sharing any credentials with this platform. It's handled by Plaid, and Plaid is giving us a transaction. So I just want to show you how quick it is, how quick it works when it comes to. So I'm going to connect the account. I already have it connected, so I'm just going to click. I'm going to click how I use this account. I use it for business. If I use it for business and personal, I choose that option. I'm going to say I only use it exclusively for business. If you are mixing it, it can help you. And I want to pull the transactions in. So I want to pull it from last year. I can go back to 18 months, 24 months. I just want to say this year. So I click add account. And what it does is it starts now syncing the transaction. So you'll see here in just a second, it's fetching. The account is there. In just a second, the screen starts loading the transaction. So it's really that simple. And that's why I say AI has made things so much more easier. Using a software like QuickBooks is very complicated. Here you go. All the transactions are started popping up, and it's going to start categorizing them automatically. So I'm going to, we'll come back in a few minutes. We'll let like Tabby do its thing. But essentially, that's the whole premise. It connects to all of your whatever you use for your business as a real estate professional. If you have multiple credit cards, multiple checking accounts, and this is not kind of limited to just real estate professionals. If you have a small business on the side, you have other things going on, managing property, it can all do that as well. So it starts syncing and just like that, and then starts pulling the transactions instantly. Let's go back and we'll come back to this, but I just want to show you a quick demo of connecting, right? So we securely connect. You saw after you connected. In my case, I had my credentials already kind of connected inside Tabby, so I didn't have to. Usually, you just have to go through Plaid, enter your credentials, and then it brings you back to Tabby. So I just I took a little shortcut just so we can save time. But once you do that, and then it starts doing its thing. So what can really, what could be automated here? In the case right here, transaction categorization, receipt capture, and quarterly tax estimates, things you can automate, whether you use Tabby or not. You say you use Claude, ChatGPT, people use many different, Copilot. There's many different platforms that kind of help you with this. And you can, stop manually using, you can stop manually doing these things. Even if you were to take your, say, picture of your notepad, and then you can take that picture, you can upload it on ChatGPT, it can organize it for you, right? Those are, at minimum, you guys can do that. Receipts, you can take receipts and you can have it kind of organize it for you and give you a full kind of a ledger, essentially, of these are all the receipts and these are all the expenses. And then quarterly tax estimates, same thing. And I think I have a question about quarterly tax estimates that I can answer here for you guys. Our cash flow usually goes positive. Q2, may I skip? Yeah, you can actually skip. You can skip your quarterly tax estimates because it's based on the quarter that you have income. So some quarters are down, some quarters are up. So therefore, it may not. You don't need to be consistent. But one thing I want to tell you guys about quarterly tax estimates, there's two ways to go ahead and do it. One is there's safe harbor method, meaning if you every year you pay, you have to pay taxes, you can take your prior year's tax that you owed, and then you can pay 110% of that over 4 quarters equally. So that safe harbor, what it allows you to do is you don't need to go and figure your quarterly profit every month and then go ahead using the quarterly profit, figure out the exact tax. So you can take previous years, 110% of that, and just divide it by 4 and make your quarterly tax estimates, and then you are good on the safe harbor. You're not going to get hit with penalties. Now, the other option is doing a more of a true calculation. In that case, first you need to know what your business profit is. Once you know your business profit, then you'll probably have to use an accountant at that stage, and they can help you come up with your federal, state, and if you live in New York City, in the boroughs, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, you also have to pay city tax. So essentially 3 levels of tax that you have to make sure you estimate and calculate. And there's self-employment taxes that's part of the federal taxes when you're self-employed. So that's what quarterly taxes is about. So we'll move on. So while I want to go back and show you how the transactions are syncing. Let's see if it finished syncing, so we can see if that.
Give me 50.
Sure. Somebody saying something? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. This is what I want to do is essentially show just an example of what it can do. Obviously, there's many AI tools that also do similar things. And so what I wanted to show you is that the transactions were synced and they were categorized: license, postage, like USPS is postage, New York State Department of State is a license permit fee. In this case, in this account, it's mostly like license and permit fees and such. But essentially, there's software in here. You can say this was CapCut, this was software. So this is what it can do, right? Most AI platforms, it can take those transactions, automatically sort it for you in this category. It adds the vendor name, it adds the category, and it tells you why it's putting in that category. So that right there can save you a huge amount of time, so you can focus more on the business side. But the whole point is showing you how simple it has become, where most of the time accounting was kind of a foreign language for most people. It's like, okay, it's something I never want to look at or touch. I'll let somebody just handle it for me. I'll figure it out. I'll do it manually, or I'll wait till IRS sends me a notice. But now you can be more proactive in these kind of things. So I will so yeah, that's the thinking that I showed you, and the transactions come in and they manually go in, right? So the point is you want to the set it forget it. What I mean by that is you want to have a system that kind of does this for you. You want to have a system where you're able to sync your transactions. It figures out um, it can figure out categories, it can figure out rules, right? It figures out based on your business how things should be categorized, and then AI continuously goes and does the work. And what you have to do is you go in monthly, not daily, or even quarterly. You go in and then you review anything that AI couldn't do. Again, it's probably about doing about 70 to 80% of the work for the most part, but the other rest is handled by the user. And as you handle it, as you do work in it, it gets smarter, and you train it, right? So what I'm going to answer a couple questions, and then I'm going to talk about some deductions and check and stuff like that. I think we've let's see, quarterly, we've answered that question. I feel like I know some of you, like I said, QuickBooks is the giant that's there, that's out there, and many people are probably using it, and it's perfectly fine. You know, if that's something that you're comfortable and using, but it's also under to know that technology has made things much more advanced. AI has really made things a lot more advanced than how things were being done in one way. At one time, I actually was a QuickBooks user, and I used it for 10 years previously running my accounting firm. And in fact, recommended it to all my clients. At that time, something like Tabby didn't exist. These AI tools did not exist. But you know, there's a lot more that the modern tools can do. For example, the transaction categorization, automatically pulling in reports, and so on. So what and I think also Tracy mentioned, yeah, many of the practices you can use Claude, ChatGPT. Again, those are also not free. Claude and ChatGPT are also paid tools and platforms, but they're basically the foundation of everything AI can do. So I definitely suggest. So I think Mary asked, I've been in Quick for 20 years. Can priors and QBO can import into Tabby so I can run trend reports? Yeah, right now we allow like 3 years of data that can be migrated over to Tabby from QuickBooks. We do 3 years because IRS only allows 3 years, or not allow, sorry. IRS generally audits past 3 years. IRS generally allows or generally audits 3 years back. You know, if you they can go up to 7 years as well, but that's kind of rare cases. But within 3 years, if you're going to get audited, you get audited. So that's why we allow the 3 years. And Mary also asked, can you run multiple businesses under one tab? Or do I need to buy separate accounts for each business? You can have separate it's a separate subscription for each business. So under one subscription, it's one business. So you need a separate subscription. So in this case, I have multiple businesses that I manage here, and I can. So the nice part is everything's under one login. So when you log in once, and then you just switch between. You can switch between the businesses without needing to kind of like log out and stuff. So log in, but yes, it's a separate subscription. And speaking about multiple businesses, a really nice report that we have, it's called a multi-entity consolidated P&L. So straight from your login, if you have multiple businesses that you run, you can generate a report just like this, where you can see business side by side. Each of your businesses side by side, you can see revenue, cost of goods sold, you can see operating expenses, and you can see profit. And then you can export this to P&L Excel. And this is actually a very neat feature that a lot of our users requested. And so at the request, we built it out where you can side by side look at your business performance in one place. Yeah, I think security is, and I guess before I go to security, I think Mary was asking, competition for Tabby is essentially, I mean, QuickBooks you could say is our is the major competitor because they're just another bookkeeping software. We're basically an AI version of them. But there's other platforms also doing Tabby. There's another software called Puzzle. There's Digits. There's a few others that are also doing what we're doing. So also, you always can see what makes the most sense in your case. Like I said, you can also just upload your transactions, to like say a chat GPT, but you always want to make sure you don't give any personal information in terms like names, addresses. It should only be like a description of the transaction and the amount. So you never want to share any PPI, PII information with any, because most AI engines will use your information, except for some enterprise versions. Some enterprise versions they don't train their system on your data. But if you're using, like, especially if you're using any of the free versions of ChatGPT, Claude, they use your information to train their models. So therefore, uh, so I want to address security because that's a major point. So when it comes to security, and specifically as it relates to Tabby, first thing is the only information that's coming through your bank is through Plaid, and Plaid handles the security there. So bank part is kind of clear. Second is our information, the platform, the software is hosted on AWS, Amazon Web Service, which is what Fortune 500 companies use. And none of your data is actually being kind of shared with AI, like with ChatGPT or anything like that. We have our internal large language models that we built in-house, which we're using to categorize transactions based on name, description of the transaction. So nothing, and we use enterprise version of OpenAI API as well as supplementary on top of our internal models. So to make sure the accuracy level is there. But again, it's not like your retail version of ChatGPT where you use and it's taking your data to train itself. None of that is happening in Tabby. Everything it stays within your account and within your full control. Nothing is going outside of Tabby. So and all the information that we really need is the amount, the description of the transaction, and the date. So three things that really Tabby is actually looking at. It doesn't need your business EIN number. It doesn't even need your ID, address, nothing of that sorts. So we're keeping it very, very simple, but also from a security point of view, very, very safe. I think I want to go through some of this checklist that I created for real estate professionals. I know Christina asked about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal thing. So there's a few personal finance apps. There used to be one called Mint. They no longer exist, but I think Rocket Money now is kind of like that alternative. And Mint or Rocket Money, what those were doing, they were a personal finance app. So essentially they would connect to your bank account just like how Tabby does, but it was just more for your personal finance. They wouldn't do business, like it wasn't like generating a profit and loss, right? The best part about Tabby is as it does the work that it's doing, connecting accounts, pulling the transaction, generating a summary of your business or P&L is just like a 30-second task. So it took the income and it categorized it. So in this case, there's no income. Actually, the income is zero. It's all expenses. So it put it in these proper license permits, phone, postage, software. It put it in this kind of organized fashion in a profit and loss format. And you can look at it monthly, you can look at it yearly, and you can export it into P&L, or you can export it into Excel or PDF. There's also this tax ready report in Tabby, which is a unique thing. Is it tells you, are you ready for tax season? Are all your transactions for that year ready? All your transactions categorized. What are your due dates? High level overview of your income, and also deductions that you may be missing, health insurance premiums, IRA contributions, home office, vehicle payments, right? And that kind of goes into the next slide I'm going to talk about is these deductions, but Tabby goes one step further. Even if you're not taking these deductions, it tells you, hey, you should be taking these, or maybe you qualify for them and you're forgetting them. Here's what you need to know for tax season. So the tax ready report is one of our signature reports that gives you kind of like, hey, you're ready for tax season. You're good to go. But P&L, there's a lot more things. If you want to upload, receipts. So if you have an expense that you paid with cash, you can just go and scan that receipt in there and Tabby will record it. Now, like I said, if you're paying with your credit card, you don't need to scan the receipt in, but you can attach it. So every transaction, you can attach a receipt inside. You can add a note so you remember kind of like what it was for, kind of get more granular into your transactions. But generally, something under $75, IRS, they're not gonna really penalize you for not having receipts. So, but you can still attach receipts to transactions. If something that you paid manually using cash, you can upload that receipt and then it also records it in the system. Tabby has a lot more features. I don't want to go in too much into it. I want to get back to the slide, but if you want to send invoices to get paid, you want to send quotations, you can do all of that. You want to collect payments for anything, you can connect Stripe directly and collect payments. There's a full chart of account, journal entries, bank reconciliation, all of that stuff. So it's a full general ledger, but it's just simplified where anybody who doesn't know anything about accounting can still maneuver and figure out what to do with it and how to manage it. That's our goal, is to kind of essentially give a bookkeeper in everyone's pocket because Tabby is mobile first. It has a mobile app on iOS and Android. So let's go over some of these deductions that I think must, right? That as a real estate professional, you must be taking. And to track your deductions, again, you don't have to use Tabby. You can just do it on your own. You can use a spreadsheet. You can do it on Notepad. You can use any software. So this is what applies to everyone. I just wanted to show an example of how if you felt like you were spending too much time on this, there's other alternatives that help make it more simpler for you. Okay, mileage and auto. Number one, all of you drive a car, right? That's part of your job. Open houses, driving place to place. You should be able to, you don't necessarily need to track mileage. Now, everyone thinks you always have to track mileage. No, there's two ways to track expenses. One is the actual expense method. One is the mileage method. If you take mileage, then you cannot take gas, you cannot take insurance, you cannot take repairs, you cannot take car payments. You just take mileage. But if you don't want to take mileage and you want to take actual expense, then you track the actual expense paid for insurance, paid for your loan, auto loan interest, paid for repairs, paid for tolls, gas, car wash. You just have to track things. And sometimes the actual expense method yields a bigger deduction than the mileage method, especially if you have a car that's a little bit more expensive. The deductions are more, especially if you can take depreciation and such. Home office, right? That's a no-brainer for all of you. You definitely are doing work from home, whether it's a mortgage or rental. You should be able to take that. And it has to be a dedicated space. And then so the easy way to calculate this is, say it's 1,000 square feet house, you use a room that's 300 square feet, that's 30% of that. So 30% of that home office rent or mortgage can be deductible. Your MLS association dues, what you pay to HGAR. If you decide to use Tabby and you pay for the subscription there, that is also a deduction for you as a write-off for your business. Your marketing, advertising, if you pay someone, now this is where it gets tricky. I know sometimes you pay cash to people to hand out flyers for you, like those kind of like marketing. So if you pay cash and you don't track it and you don't have proof of it, it almost is in the eyes of the IRS, it never happened. So, and they can deduct it. But this is the other problem with cash. If you pay some individual person cash, you have to issue them a 1099 if you pay them more than $600. If you pay them more than $600, an individual person, you have to get them to sign a W-9, and then you have to issue them a 1099 end of the year. Now, the flip side is if you pay someone who's a corporation, like not an individual, you pay their company, a corporation, S Corp, C Corp, you don't have to issue a 1099 to corporations. It's only to individuals. And so I want to show you something in Tabby. There's a feature, a function actually that
Ahad, I
allows.
just want to let everyone know that we have technically 4 minutes left. We can go over 5 minutes.
Okay.
If people have questions, they can put them into the chat and we will answer those questions over email on the same email where we send everyone the link to the recording.
Oh yeah, we can take all the questions and then just respond back to all the questions in the email, even if the
Right.
ones I answered, just so the context is there.
So you may want to skip ahead. I don't know how many more other slides you have left. Just so for people that need to jump off at 10:15, if you have any more generic advice slides, I don't know what's left for
I
you.
think we have a few more. Yeah, we're probably towards the
You may
end
want to
as well.
jump to those,
Okay,
just to
got it.
cover those before, because some people may need to jump at exactly 10:15.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we'll jump through those. Well, I was gonna quickly say if you want to collect W-9s, you can do that in Tabby as well. You can request W-9s from your contractors directly from Tabby, and they get a document that they sign with their EIN social. So then when you issue, when tax time comes, you issue them a 1099. It's simple. Tabby doesn't file the 1099s for you. It gives you the W-9. You got to just take that to your accountant, or you can do it by yourself as well. Client gifts, closings, those things are deductible. Gifts has a limit of $25, just so you guys know. Unfortunately, it's an archaic rule, but the max amount of gift, unless that gift becomes something you brand as marketing, maybe you put your logo on there. If you can brand it and make it into marketing, then there's no limit. But if there's no marketing attached to it, then it's purely gift up to $25. Education, licensing, CE credits, all of that is purely deductible for you in your business. Let's go into right. We don't want you to miss any deductions. You want to help find them, even if they're in your personal accounts. You want to see things in a real-time manner, and you also want to be tax ready. That's the most important part. Not just having things done. You want to be tax ready. So I want to go into the deadlines you guys should know. And I think that's probably going to be the last slide. April 15th was first quarter passed, second quarter is June 15th. Next quarter is third quarter is September 15th. So if you haven't made anything first and second quarter, you can catch up on September. And then the fourth quarter is next year in January. So that's where we have the tax deadlines, everything we covered. But yeah, this is my, I think I'll start wrapping it up. Maybe I'll answer some questions. But yeah, if you have any questions, we do have a perk right now with HGAR. So there's a discount available. I believe it's 50% off for first maybe 6 or 12 months. I can't recall, but it's there. You guys can take advantage, and starts out at $30 a month, Tabby. So it's very affordable.
That discount is for members of HGAR that are Realtor members or affiliate members. So if you're not sure about your membership, you can drop me an email. I'll put my email in the chat, but it's pretty simple. It's my tracy.lorio@hgar.com. And I can answer your questions about membership in terms of affiliate membership. If your question gets complicated about your Realtor membership, then we have full customer service people that can also help with that. So I'm going to put my email in the chat in case people have any questions about the Tabby discount for members.
Yep, sure. Yeah, and if you have any general, if anybody's decides to use Tabby and has any questions, you can, or even before you sign up, if you have anything specific, my email is there as well. I sent in the chat. But I think this probably will do it from my end. Thank you everyone that participated, that stayed for the duration. I hope this was insightful and allowed you to kind of see what's possible when it comes to automating your finances. And hopefully there were some tax tips that you guys were able to take away. Tracy, if there's anything else you wanted to add.
We can go 5 more minutes if people
Oh, we
want to
can go. We have
stay.
some time, right?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can
okay,
go
good.
to
Okay.
10:20 if people
Okay.
want to stay for a couple. I think there was a couple other questions in the chat, and then anything we didn't get to, we'll put in the email.
Okay. Yeah. Great, great. I think, yeah, there's some questions. I can probably go. Who trains the AI to categorize its income and expense? Is tab subscription, pricing per tab? Yeah, so what I'll do is this is let's see, plans. Yeah, there you go. This is the pricing page for Tabby. It starts at $29. There's also a free plan if you just want to connect one account. And then who trains AI? So we have our internal LLMs that we've developed. We've trained it with millions of transactions, and then that model that we've trained now is what is Tabby, being used for Tabby. We also have OpenAI, which is essentially like enterprise version of ChatGPT. We use as a second layer. If our internal LLM cannot figure it out, the transaction, then OpenAI will come in. But again, no data is shared with them. It's subscription. Yeah, it's a monthly subscription and starts at $30 a month. You can connect uh, up to 200,000 of transactions. You can categorize and so on and so forth. Let's say benefits perks. Yeah, Martha was asking. Yeah, the benefits perks is there. Is in your what's AI software is good to answer specific tax questions. Um, so I want to I'll give you guys a sneak peek. In about a month, we're adding a feature inside Tabby that you can ask questions. So you can go ahead and chat with it. So how I showed you guys all the different things you can go in and do. You can pull reports, you can categorize stuff. In about a month, we're releasing Tabby 2.0, where it's going to be just a dashboard. Everything else is going to be there, but there's going to be another tab. It's going to be the control center. You go in and you just can prompt things that you need to do. Hey, give me my report for my business. How many transactions do I have to categorize? How's my business doing this month versus last month? So questions, insights, analysis, all of that can soon be done inside Tabby directly. But Calvin, you asked what software is good for specific tax questions. There's a few like tax specific AI platforms, but you can use like a Claude, ChatGPT for questions. I mean, they're okay, but they don't really cite the IRS reg. You can even use Google AI. I just compare multiple. None of them are very are deemed to be 100% accurate. But you'll get a general sense, general idea, and then it's maybe best to just discuss with an accountant. But all the platforms can give you some general AI. Will answer your general tax questions. But I haven't found any product that I can recommend AI specific to taxes. Though, like I said, we're trying to bring this feature inside Tabby directly. Let's see. I think we have a minute, maybe, right, Tracy? And
Yes, we do.
yeah. I think I'll just I'll end it here. I think the other questions are a little more lengthy. They may take more time to answer. But yeah,
I just wanted to point people to the chat.
sure.
So Anika, who works with the HOD, had put a link in there. You can book a free one-to-one session with the HOD. You can book a call, and she put a link there. So if you want to do that, people may want to go grab that link right now before we end the call.
Work one-on-one with yeah. I offer
It's in the
free.
chat. And
Yeah,
if you
I
want to
shared it
hide, we
again.
can also include that link in the follow-up email with the recording. You and I can talk about what you want me to put in that email later. I think we should maybe summarize some of the questions in that email for people that had to jump. And we can also put that link about the one-on-one in that email as well for people. But if anyone wants to grab it right now, go ahead and grab that. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. If anyone has any further questions, I had put my email also in the chat. You can also give me an email. We really appreciate everybody that attended today. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best tax season ever. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.